Dear students, today we are going to study the last lesson of our 12th portion, chemistry in everyday life. So as we know, all the materials in the universe are made up of elements as well as atoms. So if you take any material which are used in our day-to-day life is made up of chemical compounds. Atoms or elements or molecules or chemical compounds. So first we are going to discuss about biochemical compounds, medicines mostly, right? So first we have to know what is a drug and what is its action. So when we take a drug, this is a chemical compound, right? But drugs can be used as a medicine. So when we take a chemical compound which can be used for diagnosis, prevention as well as curing of diseases, so we can call a drug as a medicine. So here we think drug as a medicine. Don't think that cocaine, morphine, so they are also chemical compounds which are highly toxic in nature. They are affecting the neural system. So drug means we consider medicine here. So these medicines, that means the drug molecules which are used for diagnosis. We have to diagnose what type of disease it is. Then we can prevent it. Then curing of diseases. For all the three aspects we use drugs. That means medicine. Next, one more question. What is chemotherapy? What is chemotherapy? This word is not new to you. Even in most of the films, we hear this word, chemotherapy. So this is a treatment for the disease, mostly for cancer treatment. So using chemical compounds, that means using the drugs, we are going to cure diseases. So a specific treatment for curing a disease by a chemical compound or a drug is called chemotherapy. Right? Next, what are the characteristics of a drug? So when we design a drug in a pharmaceutical industry, when we design a drug, it should be non-toxic in nature. That is the main thing. Right? So it crosses several tests and it should be non-toxic in nature and it should be a biodegradable one. So then only there will be easy assimilation. So without easy assimilation, it won't be highly effective in nature. So a drug should be a biodegradable one. Then it should be biocompatible. So it should be used in living beings, right? So there will be a specific action for a drug. So based on these aspects, we will design a drug or we will synthesize a drug in the pharmaceutical industry. For each drug, there is a medicinal value. The medicinal value of a drug can be identified using therapeutic index. So two more questions. What is therapeutic index? Which is nothing but a ratio of maximum tolerated dosage to the minimum curative dosage. So for each drug, there is a particular direction, how much dosage should be taken. So by medical practice now, a dosage of a drug will be prescribed. So based on the prescribed allotment, we have to take the dosage of a drug. So medicinal value of a drug can be decided based on this value, therapeutic index. So this is calculated based on maximum tolerated dosage. How much dosage can be taken from the drug? Maximum dosage. Beyond that, the drug will have a toxic in nature, right? So it will make side effects. So you just take allowed dosage of drug. Then beyond this maximum tolerated dosage, it will have side effects. Next, and the minimum curative dosage. This is the minimum dosage. Below this, if you take a drug, it won't have any particular action. So that will be highly ineffective in nature. So for every drug, there is a minimum dosage and a maximum dosage. And this ratio is called the therapeutic index. And one more question, when the therapeutic index of a drug is more, then the drug will be a safer drug. It will not have any side effects. It won't be toxic in nature. The more therapeutic index will indicate the drug will behave as a safer one. So therapeutic index 2 mark and the public 1 mark also, which is used for deciding the medicinal value of a drug. Public 1 mark. Next one, a 5 mark question, classification of drug. So drug can be classified in 4 aspects. First one, based on the structure. Based on the structure of a drug, it can be classified. So when we consider the skeleton of a drug, chemical skeleton, so as we studied in organic compounds, we said the carbon skeleton, the chain, whether it is a branched chain or straight chain. The same way, the basic skeleton is called what is chemical skeleton. So when we consider the drugs with same chemical skeleton, means they are categorized in a particular group. So we classify the drugs based on the same chemical skeleton. And the examples are given. We take ampicillin, amoxicillin, methicillin, penicillin G, and penicillin V. All these drugs are having same chemical skeleton, so they are called penicillin. So based on the same chemical skeleton, we make a group. So these drugs are collectively known as penicillin. What is the general aspect? If structure is the same, chemical property will also be same, but this will not be common for all drugs. In case of penicillin, due to same chemical skeleton, the behavior of all the drugs will be same. But if you take steroids, in all steroids, chemical skeleton will be same, but biological action will be different. So this is one more question. So based on the chemical skeleton structure, we classify the drugs. Example for that, penicillin, penicillin G, penicillin V, amoxicillin, ampicillin and methicillin. All these 5 drugs are having same chemical skeleton, so collectively it is known as penicillin. So here biological action will be same, but if you take steroids, the drugs with the same chemical skeleton, but biological action will be different. So one more example for this case, barbiturates, right? So barbiturates and steroids are having a different biological actions, even though they are having same chemical skeleton structure. So first classification over. Second classification is based on pharmacological effect. So the classification is called the pharmacological classification. So we are going to classify the drugs based on pharmacological effect. That means biological effect. So what type of biological effect induced by the drug. So when we take a drug, what is its biological effect? Based on that, we classify drugs. And the example, antibiotics. So usually the drugs which kill the microorganism bacteria, we call them antibiotics. So the examples are amoxicillin, ampicillin, cefodoxime, erythromycin, and tetracycline. So all these are the drugs which are killing the microorganism bacteria, so that we collectively call these drugs as antibiotics. And one more example is given in our book. So antihypertensive drug. Example for this antihypertensive drugs: propranolol, atenolol, metoprolol succinate, and amlodipine. And this is common. And you heard this word amlodipine. So this is the common drug which is used for curing the hypertension. For BP, for high BP, we use this amlodipine. So all these drugs which are reducing the high blood pressure. So they are called antihypertensive drugs. So second classification over. Third classification is based on drug action. So this is also dealing with the biological action of a drug. When drug is injected, how it behaves in the living beings. So based on the biological effect, we are going to classify. So there is a slight difference between pharmacological classification and the classification based on drug action. We take antibiotics. Examples: streptomycin and erythromycin. So these two drugs are killing the bacteria. So commonly we call these two as antibiotics, streptomycin and the erythromycin. So biological effect is same, pharmacological effect is same. So based on pharmacological effect, these two are belonging to the category antibiotics. But mode of action will be different. So that this classification is coming. So streptomycin and the erythromycin both are doing the duty of inhibiting the protein synthesis. So in the bacteria, protein synthesis is inhibited by these two drugs. So generally we call these two as antibiotics, but mode of action of inhibiting protein synthesis will be different, right? So drug action, mode of action will be different. Even the pharmacological effect is same. Both are killing microorganism bacteria. The mode of action will be different. So this classification is built. So streptomycin is an antibiotic and which inhibits initiation of protein synthesis. The initial process will be stopped. So protein synthesis initiation will be prevented and inhibited by streptomycin. And if you take erythromycin, which inhibits incorporation of new amino acids to the protein molecules. So it won't allow the new amino acids to join with the protein molecules. So which inhibits incorporation of new amino acids to the protein. So both are antibiotics, but mode of action will be different. This prevents initiation of protein synthesis. This prevents joining of new amino acid with the protein. So mode of action will be different. So this is third classification of drug. Fourth classification is based on drug target. So this classification is based on where biological effect takes place in human beings. at which place there will be a biological effect, and at what place a drug is interacting. So based on the site of action, a site of interaction, we classify the drugs, right? So this classification is based on drug target. So drug targets may be enzymes, receptors, and so on. So where biological effect will take place. So based on the target, we classify drugs. So when we take a third classification of drugs based on drug action, which will be highly specific than the pharmacological classification, and classification of drugs based on drug target is highly specific than the third one. So third classification is specific than the second one, and fourth classification is more specific than the third one. Even for all classifications, this will be highly specific in nature, because we are dealing with at what place there will be biological effect. So with this, classification of a drug is over. So this 5 mark question is over. Next we move into drug target interactions. How there is an interaction between the target and the drug. For normal functioning of a human body, we need two processes. One is metabolism. Another one is cell signaling. If these two processes are affected by diseases, normal functioning will be disturbed. So these two have to takes place properly in a human body for normal functioning. So metabolism means mostly when we take food, it has to be broken, then energy will be obtained from that. So for all the cells, energy will be given in the form of ATP. Next, there will be synthesis of new biomolecules in the human body. So these two are collectively known as metabolism. Breaking of food molecules to provide energy in the form of ATP to the cells, and the synthesis of new biomolecules, collectively known as metabolism. Cell signaling means we have receptor molecules like enzymes. The receptor molecule will send the signals to the other process, right? If there is any change in the environment, and this sends signal to the other process. When there is a disturbance in these two processes, normal functioning of human body will be disturbed. So to restore the normal functioning of human body, we take drug. So what is the duty of a drug? We just restore the action of metabolism and cell signaling. Thereby, normal functioning will be restored. So first one, enzyme as a drug target. 5 more question. Enzyme and receptor will act as drug targets. First case, enzyme can act as a drug target. That means a drug will target enzyme. A drug will interact with enzyme. Now, what is the role of enzyme in biological reactions? As we studied in surface chemistry lesson, enzyme is an important biocatalyst. For all biological reactions, we need an enzyme. Without enzyme, normal functioning of a human body will be disturbed. So this is an important biological catalyst. We know the mechanism of enzyme catalyzed reactions, enzyme catalyzed biological reactions. Usually substrate molecule will be attached on the surface of enzyme. So this is highly specific in nature, as we studied. One particular substrate will be attached on the surface of enzyme. So there will be active sites on the surface of enzymes. There will be active sites. At the particular active sites, substrate will be attached by a chemical bond, like a hydrogen bonding or van der Waals force of interactions. So between substrate and enzyme, there will be a force of attraction. and there will be a formation of activated complex. Activated complex will be broken again to form the expected product with the liberation of enzyme. So this is enzyme catalyzed biological reactions. So we can explain the drug action on enzyme by considering the antibiotics. So we take a drug antibiotic, how it affects the enzyme. So antibiotic is a very good enzyme inhibitor. So we call them as competitive inhibitor. With the help of an example, we can easily understand. We take PABA. It's called a para-amino benzoic acid. Okay. For the growth of bacteria, there should be folic acid synthesis. If folic acid synthesis is more, then the growth of bacteria will be more. So when bacterial growth is more means normal functioning of human body will be disturbed. So that we have to reduce folic acid synthesis. Right? So how folic acid synthesis takes place? This para-amino benzoic acid is converted into folic acid. For bacterial growth, folic acid synthesis must. We have to prevent the synthesis of folic acid, and this is taking place by para-amino benzoic acid. So this is acting as a substrate molecule. Okay, and the enzyme is DHPS. This substrate para-amino benzoic acid is combining with this enzyme DHPS, and its name is dihydroprate synthase. Right, synthase. So this substrate will be attached with this enzyme, then there will be a reaction. So this is a reaction. So due to this combination, we get folic acid. So bacterial growth will be more. So we can inhibit this process. We can reduce folic acid synthesis. For that, this substrate should be removed, or else instead of a substrate, one more substrate can be attached with this. So instead of this, we are going to use a drug called sulfanilamide. Sulfanilamide. Okay, so this is an antibiotic. When we use sulfanilamide, instead of para-amino benzoic acid, which will be attached with the enzyme DHPS, so synthesis of folic acid is prevented. So sulfanilamide inhibits folic acid synthesis, thereby bacterial growth is inhibited. So the sulfanilamide inhibits this enzyme. Enzyme activity is inhibited by the drug sulfanilamide. So sulfanilamide is called a competitive inhibitor. All these are all one more questions. So sulfanilamide is an antibiotic which is called as competitive inhibitor. Some inhibitors will not only bind one particular site, and it will bind with different sites. So the different sites are called allosteric site. So the different sites are called allosteric sites. The inhibitor molecule of a drug can be bound with. So inhibitor will bind with allosteric sites. So the inhibitor molecule is called as allosteric inhibitor. One more question. Right? So enzyme as a drug target. So when we take a drug, this directly attacks enzyme. For that example, sulfanilamide is considered. When there is a substrate which combines with the enzyme, it forms activated complex to provide product with the liberation of enzyme. This is general process. You take bacterial growth in the human body. So if more bacterial growth is there, normal functioning will be disturbed. For the growth of bacteria, folic acid synthesis is must. This folic acid is synthesized by the substrate para-amino benzoic acid and the enzyme DHPS. When we inhibit this enzyme, folic acid will not be synthesized, its concentration will be reduced. So there will be folic acid deficiency. So bacterial growth will be inhibited. So that instead of this substrate para-aminobenzoic acid, we take a drug sulfanilamide, which is an antibiotic. That sulfanilamide will be combining with this, which inhibits this enzyme, so which is an enzyme inhibitor, which is also known as competitive inhibitor. Folic acid synthesis is prevented. And some inhibitor molecules will not only bind with one particular site, it will bind with many sites. So we call the different sites as allosteric sites. So the inhibitor molecule is called as allosteric inhibitor. With this, the 5 more questions over. Tomorrow we discuss about receptor as a drug target. Thank you.